Hello, mathematicians. Today I'm here to share a little long division rhyme or song. I made this up myself. Look, I'm no poet. I know these things can be a little corny, but if it helps you remember, who cares? There are a lot of steps to long division. Let's take anything we can get that'll help us remember all those steps. So let me get to it. This is how it goes. Long division basics. Here's what you do. Start with the word divide, but think go into. Next you multiply, and do you know what's after that? After multiplying, then you subtract. The next step involves the dividend. The number to the right, bring it down, my friend. The last step, well, you repeat it all again. Or if there's a remainder, then that's the end. Okay, it wasn't too bad, was it? And if you want to see the steps here in this rhyme, it's divide. And I often tell my students that when you think of the word divide in the steps of long division, another way to think about it is go into. Like how many times does a number go into another number? So divide, next you multiply, then you subtract, then you bring down, and then you repeat the process, or if there's a remainder, you stop there. So this is kind of an either or. So let's try it with an actual number. See if this rhyme helps. I have 836 divided by 3. All right, let's go to the rhyme. Long division basics. Here's what you do. Start with the word divide, but think go into. So I'm going to start here. How many times does 3 go into 8? Or another way to think about it is 8 divided by 3. Okay, well, 3 times 2 I know is 6, and 3 times 3 is 9. That's going to be too big. So I know it's 3 times 2, and 3, that means 3 can go into 8 2 times. So we did the divide part. Next, you multiply. And do you know what's after that? Well, I'm going to multiply the divisor, which is this 3 over here, the number that you divide by, that's the divisor. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 2, and that gives me 6. Next you multiply, and do you know what's after that? After multiplying, then you subtract. So I got to subtract 6 from 8. That gives me 2. The next step involves the dividend. This is the dividend here. The next step involves the dividend. The number to the right, bring it down, my friend. So basically, I'm talking about, we've done this section here, this part of the problem, the steps of long division here. So the number to the right, 3, bring it down, my friend. Actually, let me make that a little clearer. So that's not that clear either. So let me try to write that better. 23. Okay, now what? So we did the bring down part. The last step, well, you repeat it all again, or if there's a remainder, then that's the end. Now, how do we know if there's a remainder? I noticed that some of my students get mixed up on this part sometimes. This is a way to remember, is that in your dividend, which is the number here, if there are numbers in the dividend that above in the answer, the quotient part, there's no number above it, that's how you know you keep going. Another way to know that you keep going is if there's still a number to the right to bring down. So that means we have to repeat the process. So we go all the way back up. Start with the word divide, but think go into. So now, instead of thinking 8 divided by 3, we're going to go down here and we say 23 divided by 3. Another way to think about it is how many times does 3 go into 23? Well, let me see here. 3 times 10 is 30. That's too big. 3 times 9 is 27. Still too big. 3 times 8 is 24. Still too big. But 3 times 7 is 21. That one works. Oops, I went ahead too fast. So I did my divide. Next you multiply. Going to multiply 3 times 7. I also know that that's a step students get stuck on. So after you divide 23 by 3, you saw that it went in 7 times. Then you multiply that 7 by the 3. 3 times 7, that's 21. Next, you multiply, and do you know what's after that? After multiplying, then you subtract. 23 minus 21, well, that's 2. The next step involves the dividend. The number to the right, that's the number to the right. Bring it down, my friend. But we got to bring it all the way down here. Actually, let me make that better. Bring it down, my friend. The last step, well, you repeat it all again, or if there's a remainder, then that's the end. Well, there's no remainder yet because, how do we know that? Because there's a space above this 6 we have not finished yet. We got to do the whole thing again. Divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. Okay, divide. 26 divided by 3. Well, we know 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 8 is 24. 8 is going to work. 3. So we know 3 goes into 26 8 times. We did our divide. Some of my students, I tell them to put like little check marks next to it so that they can remember what part of the step that they're on. Next, you multiply, and do you know what's after that? So we're going to multiply 3 times 8, which is 24. And remember, make sure it's all lined up. Really nice and neat. So you know exactly where you are in the problem. Sometimes I see kids do this. Like they'll write 24 here. So you don't want to do that. You want to write it right underneath 24. Next you multiply, and do you know what's after that? After multiplying, then you subtract. So 26 minus 24, that's 2. And if you want, you can put a 0 there if that helps. I do it sometimes and sometimes I don't. The next step involves the dividend. The number to the right, bring it down, my friend. Well, there is no number to the right, so there's nothing for me to do. The last step, well, you repeat it all again, or if there's a remainder, then that's the end. Now, there's no number here. There's no number here. There's nowhere else to go, which means that 2 is my remainder. So the answer to this problem is 278, remainder 2. Ta-da! I hope you found that a little bit entertaining or helpful, a little silly perhaps. Okay, that's all from me today. Till next time, mathematicians.